Alrighty, gang. I don't know why we started up here. Welcome back to our Legions of Nagash Total War Warhammer 3 Let's Play. When we left off last time, we had declared war on the mountainous dwarves of the Ironbrow expedition. We had just wrapped up Imrik. In fact, Imrik's last army is right here.
Rewrite reality.
Annihailation.
We fight.
Archon's moving up to take care of her. Gonna give him more Nehekaran warriors. Give you more bats as well. We got a few rank ups to do. We killed we killed Scrag the Slaughter. We just started going to war with Clan Scryer for some reason. I don't know how. They're flooding even more armies into our lands. This is going to be dangerous. Krell is currently making his way down there. Can he reach this army in time? No, just barely. I hate that. That's so annoying. Once you reach the person's like influence circle, it should be automatic. But irregardless, we'll have to wait till next turn to beat those guys up. We got plenty more armies to fight over here. Meanwhile, we got Hans Retep and his horde of chaff that are going to be chilling out. Does he give a barrier to his entire army? Hold on. What's your dealio, Popsies? Passive abilities, Master of the Dead. As a regeneration. Resilience. The following is immune. Oh, I'd hope so. Campaign effects. Oh, look at this. Master of Souls. That's what it is. Master of Souls. Gives him Infernal Braziers, income from all buildings, and barrier hit points plus 300 for all units in the army. This bro has given each one of his units now a shield, which, you know, thinking on it, not that big a deal, but, I mean, for goodness sakes, every little bit helps, especially when we go to fight the dwarves who have a lot of ranged units. So, let's check our lords and heroes and see what other armies we have. Nagash here. He's ready to move out. Let's start marching his happy little butt out of the desolation. We need to move him towards the Misty Mountains. That's their final holdout. They don't have any armies save the one that we're about to annihilate. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Whew. I think I would have learned my lesson from last episode. IO shares is done. We're gonna keep you a Crooked Fang. In case anything spicy rolls your way, we need to be prepared. We don't want the north to be caught unawares. Same thing with our garrison up here, Rezov. IO shares is good. Neferata can move. She is one turn away from being where she needs to be. Isabella von Karstein is ready to go. Nagash is beloved. We're gonna get rid of bats because she can fly, so she can replace them. And she'll be a replenishment unit. That'll be very good for us, being able to quickly replenish our horde. Manfred now is able to move on. We're gonna start marching his butt over to Crag Orud, so he can start pushing in. Like I said before, we're gonna get Nagash over as quickly as possible to Misty Mountains, and then he's gonna spend his time in Lamia beating up the enemy down on this side of the mountains, while Manfred von Karstein is gonna push his way through the spine and meet up with Hans Retep for Karak Zorn. Anyway, Hans Retep is okay. Oscar Helstein, brother to our other friend Helstein, who died during the Nagazishar siege by Imrik. is going to just chill out here in the north. He's going to hold Silver Pinnacle. That's a very important economy province for us, making 1,000 buccarinos.
Bring me flesh to craft.
Rozov's going to chill out. Rosfa is going to march after his liege lord since he's a summoned army. We got how many more turns left of Dominion over Death? We have 4 more turns. So we got 4 more turns before we start going net negative again. Genevieve. Genevieve can move. We're going to keep on having her march her way down to Astalia, get her over to the Vampire Coast to discover where Luther Harkon has disappeared off to. The Empire is so disgusting. I'm sorry, but 90% of my campaigns in this game are playing as the Empire, and all of them I break historical alliances and every other fun bit of lore just so that way the Empire is controlled by the men of the Empire, you know. But we're going to get 3 stacks of replenished troops on Isabella von Karstein. That's who we're recruiting right now, or skilling up. She's going to get the Invocation and the Heck, the Hunger, which is a regeneration spell, or a passive, sorry. Midnight's Children is one of her specials. +8 to Direwolves, Fellbats, Vargulfs, Vargeist, Terrorgeist units. All animals of the zombie roster. And +8 melee attack. That'll be good. At dawn they sleep. Nocturnal Specters hiding from the light, addicted to your blood. Armor piercing damage +5 for Direwolves and Fellbats. And they give the Hunger to them. Hunger being that passive regeneration. That's interesting. Not necessarily what I want for right now, especially since the army's not going to be... Oh my goodness. Blah, blah, blah. I need to wake up. Whew. Take a sip of caffeine just there. Okay, Court of Blood. Hero capacity +1 for vampires. Hero action cost -33%. Is that faction-wide? I don't know. And Vampiric Corruption +2 local province. We'll get that for S&Gs. We definitely want the vigor loss reduction for our own army, so we're going to pop that. Ravening Beast. The darkness within us all, giving free reign to lust and gorge eternally. It also gives us a 33% cooldown on Red Fury and Bloodlust, which I believe... Yeah. Ability Bloodlust. That is a armor-piercing effect for us, which gets upgraded to the Red Fury, which is armor piercing weapon damage, charge bonus, and vigor loss. That's very good. Storm of Night is a vortex ability for flying units. She gets 3 uses of that, which means she'll be good at taking down flyers. Storm of Nights. Come, my night-shaped servants, we have a great work ahead of us. And then finally, Time of Arising. Rise, my friends, rise. Flesh and blood has its place, but spirit is the prize valued above all others. Speed of 30%. Passive ability, Wayfarer. Ooh, that'll be very good. For Wolves, Fellbats, Vargos, Vargeist, and Terrorgeist units. Ooh, very good. If you don't know, Wayfarer was what we gave to our... Regiment of Renown of Horse Riders that Neferata used in that one battle to great effect. If they had a few more numbers with them, they would have won. Oh, we got a few units of dire wolves here that we can give bonuses to. Why not? Meanwhile, Isabella von Karstein's a very good attack lord. So we're going to give her 2 points of Quick Blood, 2 points of Beguile, raise both melee attack and defense up by 12. Going to give her Bloodlust. Since she is the spellcaster, we're going to focus her primarily on spell casting, but it's always nice to make sure she can hold her own in a battle when she gets caught out by melee units. We're going to start off with Penumbral Pendulum. We're going to get Curse of Undeath. I think we're going to get Raised Dead. Raising a unit of zombies and enemies is always a good idea. Give her both stacks of Winds of Death. Okram's Mind's Rador is a buff effect for base weapon damage and armor piercing weapon damage. It imbues magical attacks. That might be useful to put on her or Vlad von Karstein. I'm going to give her Earthing, Magical Reserves, and Arcane Conduit. Each one of those is critical because minus 15% base miscast and 5 to your Winds of Magic Power Reserve. And then finally Arcane Conduit for the power recharge. Very nice, very useful. Since she's a flying unit, I think we're going to give her a double stack of armor to get her up to 105. Going to give her the Lore Master of Vampires to reduce Winds of Magic costs and cooldown for those spells we just gave her. Looking up here right now for anything else we might use. Grave Ward as well for the missile resistance. We're going to give her hit points for HP. Man, she's just going to be stacked. She's almost all... She is. If I get her Blade Shield, she's going to be up above 100 melee defense, which is insane. What else could we get her? We could get her Devastating Charge. Get 30 more points, so she'll be up to 80 charge bonus, which will be useful if we decide to send her down into melee. Getting that charge bonus off was a good way to do a chunk of the enemy's health. Don't need Queen Bee. Who's Queen? That's right. Now prostrate yourself before me, worm. Minus 50% to hero action cost, plus 50% to hero action cost in the local region, and minus 25% to hero success chance. You know what? That might be good because we're in a land of pure hostiles, and I don't want agents to be assassinating our army to death. You know what I'm saying? And then Dark Pact, leadership, plus 5 when attacking. That'll be useful. So yeah, we've rounded her out. So she's very much so a heavily killy sorcerer lord. Those few dabs into Curse of the Revenant, giving her a lot more hit points. That's going to be absolutely necessary to keep her alive. She's got the Blood Chalice, which gives her a 5% ward save. Blood Chalice of Bathory. The life essence of many wretched innocent small folk ensures that those who drink from this cursed cup thrive with newfound power. Enemy hero success chance minus 10%. That's very good, including what we already gave her, so that's minus 35%. Casualty replenishment rate plus 5% for all units in the army. Minus 1 wound recovery time for all characters. And then she gets the ability Blood Chalice of Bathory, which gives her healing per second of 1.6% and a vigor reduction loss on minus 2%. And it's going to be a duration of 26 seconds. So she'll get about a quarter of her HP back, or anybody's HP, if she uses that Blood Chalice. If I'm doing my math right. Very useful. She has a black cat, she's got a big hat, and she's got a bird. Black hat with a big cat. Lovely. I think we'll give her channeling staff as well for cooldown reduction. That'll be useful. She'll be able to just keep throwing spells out, which is exactly what we want her to do. We don't really have anything else we want to give. Maybe the Sword of Might, but that's not really something that she can use. Extra weapon strength is good, but we're a little bit starved for magical items right now.
King of Darkness.
Good old Vladdy Boy's going to wait for Neferata to walk up on him, and then after one more turn, we're going to march them both equally in encamp stance across the Empire, and we're going to plop ourselves in... I'm trying to think of what a good starting point would be. I think if we... Because we'll probably be at war with Orion as well. How many settlements does he have? Sorry, this is going to be a long introductory part of the episode. We kind of ran out of close range fighting to do, so now you're stuck with the admin parts of it. We'll get to the action here in a minute. Orion has one settlement. One settlement. Yeah, so he's stuck in Eelheart. So if we get him out of there, that's Orion, the king of the Wood Elves, dead. Yeah, that'll be a good start. Killing a faction early, getting a foothold, starting to spread our vampiric corruption around. Then I think we'll push our way to Helmgart to block off whatever the heck comes our way from the lands of Bretonnia. I think it's 90% going to be the Broken Axe clan, which is led by Grom the Paunch. Grom the Paunch being a big old goblin who got so big, and I mean big as in fat, his belly is the size of 7 goblins. The reason why he's got so big is he ate a piece of troll meat, which is a cruel way for the orcs to like gamble on goblins' survival. Trolls regenerate, so if you're not careful, the troll will just regenerate inside of you and kill you instantly, which is a very gruesome way to go. But he did not, and he's in a constant battle. Since we're using Archon as a fighty lord, I'm going to give him another unit with his 1 skill point, another batch of Conquer, which will give him +8 melee attack. So he'll go up to 63 melee attack and 608 weapon strength, which will be very good for him. Be able to do more damage. He was not having a good time fighting Imrik there. Nagash himself can level up. We're going to see what he needs. We're going down the blue line. Yes, all is mine. What were we also going to get? Imperishable? No. Yeah, we're going to get another point of all is mine, because if we can get 4 points into this, we can get Death and Undeath and Immortal Horror, which gives us an insane amount of battle healing cap. Immortal Horror, insane amount of battle healing cap, insane amount of casualty replenishment rate, and reduction of wound recovery. And then Death and Undeath gives us a -10% upkeep, which is insane, because this army is bringing us 4,600 buckaroonies. That is a very expensive army we have here, and we need to start reducing it, and we need to expand rapidly, because once these 4 turns are up, our economy is going to go back in the hole again. I think we gained like 3,500 bucks from doing Dominion over Undeath. It looks like our 2 army abilities, Wrath of Undead and Endless Tomb, are ready to be used for the next battle we have up ahead. Is there anything else in our list? Once you get to the late game, this Lords and Heroes tab is very nice to scroll through your armies and see which ones need skill points, which ones need different objects and items. No need to worry about building. In terms of research right now, ooh. Upkeep costs. I don't want to raise the upkeep cost for right now. Is there anything else we can ally? Upkeep cost again. Unfortunate. We can focus on giving Vlad von Karstein an Archai. That'll be useful for him, because having a legendary hero that can just one-shot most enemies once he's ranked up is going to be very useful indeed. Damaged buildings. Gorgazon needs to heal again. Unfortunate, but this time, now that he's next to Krell, we should be able to fight off this army pretty easily. They got a lot of ranged units. Good golly. And we don't have a lot of fast movers. Unfortunate. That's going to be a very dangerous battle. Alright. End turn. Let's see what the enemy does. I'm going to hit the fast forward button to make this a little bit quicker. Only 73 factions left in the game. Turn 81. Hellkeek has now moved deeper into our territory. They've established an Undercity in Gorgazon. We need to get rid of that. Undercities are a passive build settlement within the settlement, that if the settlement changes hands, so long as the settlement is not razed or destroyed, the Undercity, in this case, will survive, and you can use it to farm income and all other fun business.
The council is disappointed.
Oh, this is bad. I think we need to start moving IO shares west.
Mortal fool. Make way.
Yep.
Thine right is mine.
Manfred's going to move out to Crusade. Yep. No casualties on that. That's good. Hans Rotep is defending.
Gather. Impossible.
We're gonna move Skull Peak up. No, Camry should be alright. Yeah, it's got 20. I don't like how the garrison's full of bone throwers. That's not gonna be useful at all for the siege. What's giving us bone throwers as a garrison? Is 2 from the sandstone walls, and then 2 from the actual settlement itself? I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. All right, Krell, you got 2 options here. You can't reach anybody yet. They're both out of range. This is very unfortunate.
Stupid.
I kind of want to move them up north because there's 3 armies, including Ikit.
Malfunction.
Let's see here. Hold on. The Bloody Hands.
If I don't like your words, I'll blast yous with me spells.
Well, you know, we're at war with the same people, so maybe a little bit of courtesy. No, we can't do anything. Let's go to quick deal time. No one wants non-aggression, no one wants trade, military access, etc. Military alliance from the Barrow Legion would be nice. Give me, there you go, give me 4 grand for that. That's great. Okay, so money in the diplomacy point system is insanely broken if you have a surplus on them. It scales horribly. So, Neferata, you're grouping up with Manfred.
The von Garstein.
Can I?
Pact will be placed.
No, I can't.
Vlad von Garstein.
Alright, so they're ready to go. This is going to be an insane matchup. These two are going to start bullying their way through the Empire, and that's going to be very good for us. We're going to be doing our best here to unify the Empire. This is going to be a huge economic base for us, and not to mention, well, technically souls, but it'll be very useful for us. Nagash, I need you to waltz your happy butt on out.
The king moves.
Start marching your way out towards the Misty Mountains. We've already moved you. Archon. She's running for her dear life. I need you to move west. I need you to ignore that. We're gonna...
Bring me flesh to craft.
You kill her. We're gonna have our vassals wrap that up, wrap that little army up. We need Archon over here to help with the incursion of the west. The dwarves, for right now, are still not interested in invading us. That's good. Hans Lambda can level up. We are going to give him... probably spread corruption. If we can get people to suffer vampire attrition now in every province we march into, that'll be useful. Scroll down. Krell, I really need you to move north. It's 2 half stacks. I don't think they can win any of our sieges. And Archon's next to the one that's more deadly. Yeah, I think we're going to march you back up north to hopefully set up an ambush or a defensive line against the incoming hordes.
Never wrong.
This is going to be dangerous. No one else of interest to move. Okay, Gorgazon. Blow that city up. We don't want that. Boom, you're gone. No building upgrades needed. Oh, well, yeah, actually, I lied. We can upgrade the income and growth from that Crooked Fang fort. That'll be useful. And that's end turn. Alright, we're getting through it now, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I forgot to move Genevieve. Well, that's alright. We'll get to see her waltz through Fildorf. I could use the floating temple of Nagash, floating pyramid of Nagash to. Yep, that's what's gonna happen. Grunty Mingle is under siege again. Are they gonna take it? They are. Okay. So they're starting to take settlements on our front line. That's alright. If we keep them trapped in settlements, that'll help us when it comes to wiping their armies out. It looks like the vast majority of surviving factions are Chaos and Norscan tribes. Alright. Yep, Grunty Mingle has been looted and lost. Settlement besieged Myrmidons. Oh dear. They're sieging us? Yeah, we don't have any answer to that. I wonder why they're sieging us, though. It's probably because they didn't have a siege weapon, but they do have monsters and artillery. I hope they're not starving us out. I hope they're a little bit cooler than that. Alright, well, anyway, we're gonna march Krell up north.
Me not fool.
You're not Krell. Don't even sound like him. Start marching Krell up north. Meanwhile, we got Archon going to take out Hellkeek. And, we can't move Hans Rotep because he's the only one convincing these dwarves to bugger off. That dwarf might attack Kasabar, which would be dangerous for us. Manfred now, attack First Blood in this battle, Crag Oak duel. It says we are going to suffer heavy casualties from this. I don't think we will. And we want to see what our Bone Giant and Mortis Engine have. Plus all our cavalry. Cavalry not necessarily the best for a Dwarven siege, but being as this is our first fight against the Dwarves, we're going to see how Manfred and his Legion do. Stay tuned. We're going to see this battle on the battle map. Alrighty, gang. So, Manfred's first battle with his new army. We got these Carrion Riders. We got Manfred, of course. We got ourselves a swarm of Black Knights, those with lances and those with sword and board. We have a decent amount of skeleton spearmen. We got our Bone Giant. He's going to be trying to snipe units off the wall, and we are going to have our skeleton throwers attacking the enemy's fort towers. It's going to take us a minute to bring down those towers, but once we do, we are going to rush our forces forward and do as much damage as we can. This Bone Giant, unfortunately, is going to be taking a lot of hits from these towers. He's going to be doing his best, though, to snipe the enemy. We originally have him attacking the towers to do extra damage, but for the most part, we're going to spend his energy on shooting the ranged units, the very limited amount of ranged units off the tower. Fortunately or unfortunately for the defenders, they have a lot of Longbeards. They're in top tier melee infantry, massive amounts of melee defense and leadership and armor. We're going to see how well that works for them in the battle ahead. They only have 2 units of ranged troops, or 3 units, sorry. They got 2 Quarrelers and 1 Thunderer unit, 2 crossbows, 3 crossbows, sorry, I can't count. And then they got their Master Engineer, and they're going to build a tower here eventually on the rear. But yeah, as you can see, we are going to speed this up a little bit and wait for these towers to collapse. We're going to focus most of our fire on these towers as well, doing damage. And our Bone Giant is going to be picking apart their units on the walls. Going to try and make sure that they don't pepper us too poorly when we get to it. A very squishy army here. I was surprised by that. 60 armor. He must be having some sort of a debuff there. But he should be able to take more hits than that, especially from their lowest tier tower. But you can see now we're doing some damage against the defenders here. Unfortunately, his accuracy is starting to drop, especially now that he's getting tired, debilitated even. The more exhausted your troops are, the less accurate they are and the less damage that they do overall. But now, with his ammo spent, we're going to march him up to the gate and do what damage he can to break through the front gate. Alright, now that last tower has fallen. The order has been given and the undead horde is rushing in. We're going to have Manfred and the Carrion Riders fly overhead. They're going to attack the tower that just spawned. Meanwhile, our poor Bone Giant, he's still going to get peppered by the enemy as he comes in. Going to be losing a lot of his health here. This poor bony boy is not going to be too happy. He's already suffering a little bit. And because he's a construct, none of Manfred's healing spells are going to work on him. Kind of a bit of an oversight. We are going to summon the Fate of Buna on these Thunderers to really do damage to them. Tear them to pieces. Fortunately, Manfred's got a lot of damage resistance on ranged, including his ward save. And we are going to summon a Winds of Death here pretty soon. He's got an ability that increases his spell mastery by 60%, and that Wind of Death is going to just skirt the tail end of these Longbeards. But look at that damage. Almost half of the hit points on their most heavily armored units is gone. Very good spell casting there. Now the units of Carrion Riders are going to start tearing apart that piercing tower. We want to make sure that they don't have any more ranged units pestering us while we try and get on the walls. Our forces are running as fast as they can. We're going to have archers supporting where they can. Unfortunately, we did not take out these two units of tower walls, so these two units on the right flank are going to be taking a lot of damage as they approach the walls there, but that's exactly their job. They are skeleton spearmen after all. They're meant to be expendable. Meanwhile, the defenders are rushing around, trying to put themselves on the wall, doing the best they can to defend. We're going to bring up our Mortis engine. Our cavalry is not going to do much this battle. We're going to keep them in reserve in case we need to rush them in, but you'll see how that pans out. Meanwhile, our Carrion Riders are now finished. We're going to focus on landing in their backline and taking out their ranged units now. Look at that swarm of death overhead. We're going to try and rip apart their Longbeards before they reach our skeleton unit, and we have summoned a Purple Son of Xeres on their stack of ranged units as well. Do as much damage as we can. A lot of damage rendered there. Longbeards, Quarrelers, all of them not having a good time. They're down to one ranged unit left, and our Bone Giant now is engaging through the gate. He's going to be taking a lot of damage. We summoned the Endless Tomb now to give him support as well. To run through. We're going to send our Mortis engine out to blow up that gate. The AI is doing their thing where they don't allow you to break their gate. They just send their troops in and it breaks your AI. A very annoying bug and one of the reasons why sieges are so heavily shunned in this game. We're going to have the Carrion Riders and Manfred focus on taking down their Master Engineer now. If we can break him, we can reduce their leadership heavily and hopefully get this army to break before we suffer too insane losses. The dwarves are very tanky and we need to make sure that they don't take advantage of that. We forgot one unit of Quarrelers. Those Quarrelers are going to be firing into our backs. Fortunately, with the physical resistance being that they are Cairn Wraiths, it shouldn't do as much damage as it would if they were other weaker flying units. Yeah, Manfred on his Doom Steed. I don't know what that's called. Look how terrifying that thing is. I would not want to fight with that thing. And that seat too. I mean, my goodness, his lumbar support is definitely hurting right now. But I think part of being undead means he's going to spaz out a little bit. But we are starting to take some serious damage here. Our leadership is definitely in question, especially now that we're being rear charged by 2 units of Longbeards. We're going to try and give him an invocation of Nehek to give him just a little bit more HP, but that's not going to be enough. His leadership is going to crack and he's going to start crumbling. We are now fighting against the clock to save this Carrion Rider unit. We pulled back the bone giants and we've let all our skeleton undead into the settlement. They're going to start rushing down to support those carrion riders before they take too much damage. Manfred is almost done taking out that master engineer. We're going to try and kill him as quickly as possible. He is broken, and with that, with the leader broken, they're all going to be starting to take morale hits. Only this unit of quarrelers and this half-healed unit of longbeards is going to be decent, and we're going to summon a Wind of Death. One more spell on this unit of quarrelers. Are they going to notice in time? They're going to try and get out of the way just in time, but not quickly enough. That Wind of Death is going to careen. It's going to bounce off the wall, and it's going to hit our own unit a little bit. We're going to start launching bones, skeleton skulls over top of the walls to do damage. That quarreler unit is now routed. It's only these two units of longbeards that are now holding on. We have about 780 health on that carrion raider unit, really falling to pieces, and now army losses are going to get them to break, and we have just barely won the battle. Hopefully, we won it in time to save our units of carrion riders. Those are very expensive units. I would hate to lose them in the first battle on the first hurdle. We're going to see the effects of this in the campaign map. Stay tuned. Alrighty, gang. Alright, so that was a close battle. We almost lost our carrion riders. They were decaying at the last bit of that battle. Our bone giant took a lot of damage from their towers. Overall, I think this is a pretty good army stack. Cavalry didn't really get much use, but they got a bunch of kills from the auto-resolve running off, which isn't bad. We took $2,000 of theirs. We're gonna replenish this army pretty dang quickly. We're gonna loot and occupy for the money. Get ourselves a decent amount of money. Tier 3 settlement. Ooh, okay. Oh my goodness. Obsidian Amulet, minus 50% upkeep for Nagash units in region. And then 4% spell resistance faction-wide. Whew. My goodness, that's a very good one. We're going to get defenses here as well. We need to boon how many troops we have, our unit capacities. I think, I think getting more, Nagash Guard is always a good thing. Yeah, let's do that. And then finally, we are going to get the soul site. We really need research, actually. We are really slow on our research rate. We're down to 80 now. And we still got at least 4 more legendary Mortarks to recruit. So we definitely need to start looking at boosting our research rate. Meanwhile, I think getting Manfred up to his final tier of horde building will be useful for him. I think we can ditch the archers and get him more artillery as well. That might prove to be more useful for him. And then, yeah, so that'll be a good start. We got a good start going. His army will modify the more battles he's in and the more units he loses along the way. Meanwhile, we are going to get Undying Horde for additional casualty replenishment rate. Who else do we have on the board who needs to move? Nagash needs to move. Nagash needs to move. We're going to put him in Force March since there's no threats around him. We'll waltz his happy little butt up to the portal. We want him to get to Misty Mountains as quickly as possible. We are falling behind. Meanwhile, Caravan of the Blue Rose has landed in Libros. That's a unique formation to take. Yeah, that Caravan of the Blue Rose is making... Ooh, we're running low on our treasury, and we have 2 turns left. We need to stop our spending. We need to maintain a surplus. Alright, gang. We are going to end turn after... Oh, yes, we can move the crew now. Let's let's march them towards Castle Templehof. We're going to take a lot of diplomacy loss because of trespassing, but that's going to be alright. We're going to keep these guys here. We're going to start moving our way west. And we're going to move to Eelheart as soon as possible. We want to make sure that we get Eelheart a nice little standoff. There's not a whole lot of units there to defend against us. There'll be 12 units in that battle. I think we'll be able to win it. Once we take Eelheart, we can start moving through the Empire and doing even more damage. IO shares, where were you headed off to? We were moving you west to support against the invading Skaven horde, right? All these other lords are defensive lords. Are they going to attack us? No. Not yet. Alright, so we're going to end turn now. We're going to see what the enemy does. Now that things have starting to liven up a little bit. We're at war with Tzeentch too, so the closer we get to the southern peninsula, the closer we are to another enemy. That's not going to be good. Alright. Ikit is going to attack us in Myrmidons. We still have our full strength. What is... Oh, it's going to be one of these siege battles again. And they got a nuke. Okay. They got a huge horde of units. We are going to see what we can do. We didn't lose any wall strength. Depending on how this battle is, what type of towers we have, I may just play it out for y'all. But I'm going to see you all on the battle. Well, gang... I'm afraid this campaign may be a little bit busted and broken due to the update. We'll play it as long as we can, but situations like this are becoming more and more frequent and it's making me nervous. The AI, despite having superior numbers and having the gates, is just chilling out here. Meanwhile, their reinforcements are stuck in this mosh pit over here on the west side. And, as you can see, I got her on full fast forward, and I'm just letting the clock go down. But I don't think, yeah, I don't think this campaign is going to be all that stable. Unfortunately, we'll play as much of it as we can, and we'll try and get to an exciting conclusion. But I'm kind of worried about it. I hate how it's kind of fizzling out like this. But again, we'll do our best. We'll try and make it fun. I will see you all on the campaign map. Alrighty, gang. Sorry about that siege, but it was just broken. As you can see, we did eventually lose. I killed Ikit, but in the process, I lost one singular unit of Cairn Wraiths, and that caused army losses to trigger and threw the match for us. I guess they deserve the win, considering we would not have been able to defeat them. We took out a few of their units, and we took out Ikit Claw primarily. But again, a very disappointing siege, indeed. We're gonna play this campaign as long as we can, but I'm kind of starting to worry about the integrity of it. We are in between patches now. The newest hotfix to try and fix the Lizardman Tomb King situation has just released, and with that and the Heracles AI mod, I don't think the game is liking all these changes at once. So we're going to do one last turn and we're going to call it here for this episode. We are in range. The AI is deciding just to raid us. They're very docile this game. Hopefully we can catch them and not have them run 80 miles away. And that's exactly what they're going to do. Can we catch them? No, we can't, of course. We're going to Benny Hill this all across the Midwest. Dwarves are sieging us now. and they have a decent force to do it with. We do have a large garrison, so hopefully they got a lot of long beards. They don't have any siege weapons in this army, so hopefully they're building like some towers or something, and we'll get a good siege battle in Kasabar here soon. Meanwhile, we're gonna hold off. We're gonna hope that they hold. We're gonna move to Granite Massif and prepare ourselves for that. Still gotta do a bit of replenishment. A lot of our units took a lot of damage. Surprisingly, though, this one here looks like a decent defense. We're gonna. We're gonna auto-resolve this for right now. I know it's lacking in battles, but we're gonna try and keep the brevity of this campaign rolling. I want to get as much of the conquest going as possible and save it for the really big battles or the really interesting battles, you know. If you like to see these smaller battles, be sure to let me know, so that way I don't skip over battles you guys want to see. Another point in casualty replenishment rate for Undying Horde for Manfred von Karstein. Meanwhile, Misty Mountains has been captured. Their last army now, Anriel, is all alone. We have the Misty Mountain now with Rudiger Ratep. And now we're going to start moving Nagash down to Lamia. We already have plenty of the Caravan of the Blue Rose now swarming over Lamia itself. That's going to be good for us. We're going to have a lot of support there from chaff armies to help push up this flank here. Oh my goodness, we might need to move an army south. He's stacking up hard on this southern front here. It's going to be unfortunate if we start losing stuff, but Archon is nearby, so hopefully we'll be able to get him a good army to defend, and we'll be able to form a front line with our provinces. Meanwhile, Krell needs to move up. Can he reach Granti Mingal? He can. What's he going to find there? He's going to find a full army stack. Okay, so this is the kind of battle we are looking for. A settlement defense, a choke point indeed. They got a lot of nasty artillery and ranged units we got to work our way around. Can we defeat them? We will have to see in the next episode. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and be sure to stay tuned. We got a lot of good battles coming up ahead. Things are starting to get set in motion now. I think you're going to like it. Thank you all so much for watching, and stay tuned.